tabletop, I am just taping down a piece of watercolor paper that I've already primed with gesso, and I've got out my Caran D'Ache Neocolor II crayons, and I am going to just start to scribble. And this is going to be an abstract that I'm doing on watercolor paper. It's a 300-pound piece of watercolor that I had. I had something painted on it, and I didn't like it, so I gessoed over it, which is basically a white acrylic paint, and I'm using that as my substrate today. So I used some colors there, and now I've got out my black Neocolor. These are water soluble, so if I were to apply water, I could move these around. I'm not going to, I don't believe. And now I've got out the white Tempera. I have Tempera sticks, paint sticks that I'm using, and you know, believe it or not, they're Shuttle art, which is I want to say it's a children's brand. I'm not really sure if it is. I might be wrong with that. But I find that these Tempera sticks are really yummy, and I feel like I'm painting with lipstick. I could have used my oil pastels. I have a selection of those, and these actually feel like when I paint with the Sennelier oil pastels, they're very lipsticky, if you can imagine what lipstick would feel like. Very smooth and goes over the paper really nicely. That's one of the Tempera sticks right there. So it's Tempera paint stick by Shuttle art, and I got them on Amazon. It was a basic selection. I think there were like 15, 16 sticks, and I kind of like the vibrant colors. So I laid down that cruciform in black, and I'm not really sure if it's going to stay that kind of a composition, but it's there to begin with. And I basically laid it in so that I had something to respond to, something to work off of. I didn't know where I was going with this. I want it to be an abstract on watercolor paper, and that's basically the only parameters I had when I started this. I wanted to be black. I wanted it to be on watercolor paper, and I wanted to do an abstract. The table that I'm working on is covered with a plastic. I don't know what the thickness of the plastic is, but I usually cover my entire table, my work surface, in plastic. That way I could actually use my entire table as a paint palette if I wanted to, and I don't worry so much when I get paint on it. And after a time, you know, like this is not even close to me needing to strip it down and re-plastic the cover. And underneath the plastic, I have brown craft paper in a couple of layers. So I get it's not too soft, but it's not very hard either. I have a little bit of a cushion. Well, it's not really a cushion, but it's a little softer. All right, I am using those Tempera paint sticks and my Caran D'Ache Neocolor II crayons. Look at that yumminess. And now that I'm looking at this stage, because I did this a little bit ago, a couple of weeks ago at least, I'm looking at that and I really do like the cruciform. Unfortunately, the end product doesn't have the cruciform at all. It actually ends up being more of an unbalanced composition, which I do like as well. I don't know how it ended up going that way, but it did. And this is the best part of art. I can do another one. And now that I'm looking at this, I can kind of go in this direction and see where it takes me the next time. But for now, we are just working with what I've got in front of me. And it really is a call and response. I know that's a music term. I lay something down, it's a push and pull. I lay color down and then I respond to it, and where the next color goes, I respond to it. And then it's kind of, you know, I don't know, where is this leading me? So as you see, I flipped it around. I'll do that oftentimes because I'll see, do I like it in this direction or in that direction? And this completely, I think I flipped this around again at the end. You know, the best thing about abstract to me, and I am learning, believe me, I am no expert on abstract paintings by any stretch. This is my journey. that I choose to share with you, and I'm hoping that you are along for the ride and learning with me. But the best thing about abstract painting for me is that I can start in one direction, think that I have an idea of where I want to go, and by the end, it's completely different, and I can flip the paper around or the canvas around to see if I like something change my perspective on it and see if I like it in a different orientation. And oftentimes, I do. And then there's the converse, the opposite is I go into an abstract with no plan, absolutely no plan whatsoever, and I just react. Like this is one of those times where I'm just reacting to what I'm putting down. Do I like that? Don't I like that? Could I add something? Can I add another color? If I add violet, what else? Now, what did it do to that part of the painting? If I do a circle, what did that do to another area? Should I do something bigger? Should I do something smaller? Do I need something large? Do I need a small element? Do I have enough elements? Do I have enough variety of elements? These are all the things that are going in my through my mind while I am painting basically anything, but specifically for this in abstract, I find that is in my mind a lot more. And it's because when I'm painting a landscape or a seascape or even a still life, I see what's in front of me. I see what the elements are. If I'm painting more realistically, I see what the elements are. I know where the ground is. I know where the sky is. I know how the trees are. I know where the water is, if it's a lake scene or an ocean scene or a seascape. I know where the sky is and the water is. When you're painting an abstract, it's kind of everything is up for grabs. There is no up and down as you would see in a realistic painting. There's no sky is up top and on the picture plane and the land is on the bottom of the picture plane. With an abstract, it's all up for grabs. You can put anything anywhere at any time. But when I am looking at this, when I'm painting it, all of a sudden it's almost looking like a bird's eye view, like I'm looking down on the earth at the landscape going by. So I can see, maybe those circles are the tops of trees and the blue through the center is, a river running through the land below me. Anyway, that's the way I am approaching abstract painting. I am literally seeing things differently. It's really completely changing my perspective. And it's also informing the way I paint when I do paint realistic or when I do some collage, because I do like to do a lot of paper collage. All right, back to this. So I have the brush out. I've wet it. So I am moving some of those water-soluble paints around, the Neocolors, the Caran D'Ache Neocolor IIs. I moved it around, muted it. I've got my shop towel out. I'm drying it off. I just roll it over it, and it's good to go. So I have built up a lot of layers, and sometimes when you build up a lot of layers using these Neocolor IIs, you kind of burnish the surface, and it's almost impossible to put more layers on until you let it dry. And this is another day now, or it's at least several hours later. I have let the whole surface dry, and now I'm going in with more of the Neocolor II crayons, and I am trying to layer on. I've got my little bamboo pen there with a sharp edge. It's a dip pen. I'm just scratching into it just to get more texture. That's all. It's nothing special. I'm just trying to get some more texture. And as I am adding some marks, which I love to do, I am just trying to keep balance in my head. If I add a little bit of that magenta or that pink, in the left or the right hand lower side, then I want to scatter it around. I want the viewer's eye to bounce around this whole entire mini painting. I'm sorry for the constant angle changes on this. I don't know why it's doing that. All right, so I wasn't really happy with it, and I decided, you know what? Let me flip it. So I did. I turned it 1/4 to the left, and let me add some circles. Maybe add more circles. I didn't have enough big elements as it turned out. I noticed. I had a lot of small elements, those little dashes and dots and squares, and then I had those little mid-size, those green circles, but I lost all my big elements. So I added those big black circles. I'm a lover of the circle. Why? I don't know. I really gravitate towards the circle. Circles and squares, love them. Love those symbols. They represent, I don't know, a ton of things. So as I'm editing this and looking at it, I am definitely looking at it in a different way, especially in this perspective, in this orientation, because I've turned it 1/4 to the left. It really does look like those circles, those black circles, are maybe treetops, maybe, I don't know, quantum huts or huts of some sort. And all that blue is the river running by all of this, or a statuary, something. And you see me, I'm covering some elements with my hand to see, do I need it there? Don't I need it there? Change it. So I did change that one little black mark up at the top. And those black lines at the bottom right corner, those remind me from a bird's eye view of, I don't know, maybe a dock leading me into this river. So this way of painting, this way of looking at things has really changed the way I perceive all my marks. I don't know, are those little boats in the water? I don't know. From the bird's eye view, it could be anything. But to me now, as I'm looking at this looks like a river. And this might be what I might need to name this thing. A river runs through it, because to me that looks like a river running through something. And I might name it that. Yeah, I think I am going to name it that. I don't know about anybody else. I have a little difficulty trying to name things. So I've decided just recently to write some titles of paintings on papers and to maybe pull one out and paint until I achieve the title. Let me know if you think in the comments. Let me know in the comments below if you think that might be a good series to do. I think it would be a lot of fun. Okay, I think I am nearing the end of this painting. It's, it wasn't meant to be like a full-blown piece, but I feel comfortable that I could put this in a little bit of a frame. I will live with it for a little bit, but I think I do like it. I do like it, but I am getting towards the end. As soon as a pencil comes out and I sign it, you know that I've gotten to the point where I think I like it. And I think I'm there. I can see that dock area, the bottom left, weaving me in. The circles bring me up to the top. And then I've got like that black piece at the top that kind of holds me in. That right there, that was bothering me. So I need to tone that down. I felt like, I don't know, it was not helping me at all. Now I like it. That's much better. Yeah. All right. I think I'm going to get my pencil. Yep, I see how this is working. So let me sign it and wish you well. And here are some pictures of the finished product. I was so happy that you were here to join me, and I hope to see you again inside my studio.